Meditation is not an escape from reality, although many people think that. Meditation is actually an escape from non-reality. It's an escape or an exit from the matrix that we're living in. And it's actually the pathway to liberation and living an empowered life right here, right now. And so the way it works is our subconscious minds are running our lives 95% of the time. And the subconscious mind is basically a program. And so we all undergo this subconscious programming, but obviously it looks a little bit different for each and every one of us. And for most people, their subconscious programming tends to be negative and disempowering. And it starts from this foundational place of not being enough. And so, you go throughout your life and you have all these problems that arise, and you're trying to fix these problems with this external focus, thinking that if I just fix this or that out here, then all of my inner problems will be solved. And that's just not how it works, because again, what's running your life and what's causing these things to keep occurring time and time again is your subconscious programming. And this is what's creating what you are perceiving to be reality. But these perceptions that you have of yourself and others in the world and pretty much everything are perceptions that are not reality. These perceptions are coming from the subconscious mind, which is a programming that can absolutely be changed. And so when you start meditating, you are primarily, when you first start off and you're in the early stages of meditation, you are primarily in the beta brainwave state. And the beta brainwave state is when you are in your analytical thinking mind. It's the brainwave state that you're in for most of the day, when you're going to work, when you're having meetings, when you're solving problems, when you're having conversations with people. It's the normal waking state, brainwave state, we'll say. And so this is what happens when you first start meditating. And that's why for so many people, when they first start meditating, they're like, oh, this is so distracting, and I have all these different thoughts and feelings and emotions that are arising, and I'm trying to get into this deep meditative state, but I can't because my mind is just too distracting. And what do? And so I remember when I first started meditating, this was my biggest problem. I couldn't get past my thinking mind. And I thought that I really had two major misconceptions about meditation. The first misconception that I had was that meditation is all about trying to control your thoughts. And so I'd sit there and I'd start meditating, and I'd be trying to control my thoughts because I thought that if I could control my thoughts, then I could somehow slow down my thoughts, and then I could enter into this deep state of meditation. Well, that didn't work. Well, then I tried the second thing, which, like I said, was the second misconception, and that was trying not to think about anything. Well, if you try to not think about anything, good luck. It's pretty much impossible. And so after dealing with this for a few months, or for however long it was, I got to a place where I said, this is not for me. I can't meditate. I can't deal with the distracting thoughts that are coming from the mind, and these thoughts and just not being able to focus is what's keeping me from experiencing what I actually want to experience in meditation. So I gave up on meditation for a while, but then I learned that these were misconceptions, and I learned that it's not about controlling your thoughts, it's not about trying not to think. No, meditation is simply about being aware of your thoughts. It's about being aware. And when you're aware of your thoughts, you're watching them pass by, like you would watch clouds pass by in the sky. And you're just letting them do their thing. And the more you do this, the more you simply sit back as the awareness, the more the thoughts start to decrease and decrease. And then this is when you apply the primary object technique. And this is a very, very helpful meditation technique that really helped me get into these deeper meditative states. It helped me get into the alpha brainwave state, which is where you start to feel peaceful and calm on the inside, and you can notice the thoughts start to become less and less, and you can notice this, like I said, just this peace and serenity that starts to arise, and you actually feel it in your body. And so the primary object technique is when you basically you focus on one thing instead of just being wide open in the very beginning and having all these thoughts that are distracting you. You focus on one thing, the primary object, and the more you focus on that thing, then you notice that all the thoughts that are around that one thing start to become less and less. And so this is just another method, another practice that helps you quiet the mind and enter into that inner stillness. And so you're doing this between beta and alpha, and then you get to alpha, and you can keep the primary object going if you want. And I'll say this too, for the primary object, something that I've done that's been helpful for me is simply, I just follow my breath. I just watch my breath. The breath becomes my primary object. But the primary object can be different things. It's good to figure out what works best for you. Some people like staring at a candle flame. Some people like saying a mantra, but you've got to figure out, like I said, what works best for you. That's really important with any kind of spiritual practice, especially with meditation. Figuring out what resonates with you the best, what works for you the best, and then rolling with that. And so now you're drifting into alpha, and when you get into alpha, what you realize is that meditation and getting into these deeper states of meditation it's not about trying to get into these deeper states of meditation. It's not about trying or trying to strive or attain, because the more you do that, the more you realize it becomes more challenging to actually experience what you want to experience. And so once you're in alpha, and you start to let go and surrender, instead of having this mentality of, oh, I have to climb into this alpha state or the theta state. No, by just letting go, you realize that there's actually this very sacred divine pull. I like to call it a divine pull that brings you into the deeper states of meditation. It brings you into alpha, it brings you into theta, it brings you into delta. And what determines whether or not you experience these different brainwave states is whether or not you can let go and allow the pull to bring you in. And so the more you do this, the more you experience the inner peace and the calmness and the clarity, and you can feel your awareness increasing, and it becomes a very beautiful experience. And you can notice the thoughts and the different distractions that are coming from the mind. You start to notice all of that decreasing and decreasing the more you get into these deeper meditative states. And so you're in alpha, and then eventually you start to drift into the next brainwave state, which is called theta. And when you're in theta, theta is actually like a hypnotic state. So you're half awake, half asleep, and this is when you can actually start to reprogram your subconscious mind. And once you get into theta, what you'll notice is that you start to experience more images instead of like all the distracting thoughts and the continuous mental chatter that typically arises in beta. So now you're in theta, you're experiencing these thoughts, it's kind of dreamy, and when you're in this place, you can start to visualize whatever it is you want to experience, whatever it is that aligns with your true self. And this is when the subconscious mind takes these images and whatever it is you're visualizing, and it starts to accept it. And then you start to feel it. You can literally feel a shift in your body. And this is why when we're talking about the law of assumption and manifestation, this is the best time to actually visualize and feel as if whatever it is you're wanting to manifest is already done. Because this is when, like I said, the door to the subconscious mind is open, and the subconscious mind is taking whatever it is you're experiencing in this moment, it's accepting it, and then that is what ultimately creates the process of it manifesting in your external reality. So this is it. This is the pathway to escape this mental matrix, this subconscious programming that has been controlling your life, that has been determining all these different things that you've been experiencing in your life. And it's something that, you know, I think people make it so complicated, like, oh, it's impossible to overcome this, that, or the other. But the reality of it is, no, it's not, because whatever you're experiencing that is negative or disempowering or going against who you really are, your true self, again, that is not reality. That is like a dream or a nightmare for some. And so it's not about like necessarily trying to somehow get rid of it. No, it's about waking up. And I think the best way to actually wake up is what I'm explaining in this video. It's by going into your subconscious mind and slowly starting to make these changes of what you believe most about yourself. Because ultimately, what you're experiencing in your life from your subconscious programming, which is controlling your life 95% of the time, is your belief about yourself that is ultimately being pushed out and projected into the world around you, into the relationships around you, into the people around you, into the situations and circumstances around you, into all of that, okay? So when you're in theta and you're starting to reprogram your subconscious mind with these new beliefs, with these new dreams and these new desires, and you're visualizing and you're feeling as if they're already done, like Neville Goddard talks about, when all this is happening, this is good, and this is going to start the transformation, this is going to start the change from going from living limited to living limitless, activating your true divine potential. But all of this is good, like I said, but the most important thing you can do during this time is love yourself, accept yourself, and start to rewire and change what you believe most about yourself during this time. And this can come with, you know, maybe letting go of these different ideas and these things that we've been told about ourselves. It can look like you maybe forgiving someone, or, like I said, just letting go of stuff that has been keeping you from experiencing and knowing who you really are. Because this is when everything changes. This is when you can actually start to embody and express the love that you fundamentally are. And when you're in theta and you're feeling the love, you're feeling the gratitude, you're feeling the abundance, that is when everything starts to be rewired. And then you come out of the meditation truly transformed, and you're essentially stepping into a brand new world. You start to see everything differently. And this is what it actually means to step out of the matrix, to transcend this limiting programming that has been running your life. This is what it means. And the way through, the way out is meditation. But again, meditation is not about escaping reality. It's not about escaping life. No, it's actually the vehicle that brings you to what is. It brings you to reality. It shows you the truth about your life, about your true self, so that you can start living from the reality of your divine essence, which is light. That's why Jesus says you are the light of the world. You were created, you were designed to shine. But you can't shine your light if you don't believe your light. If you believe that you are sinful or inherently flawed and separated from God, and there's this and there's that, and you have this narrative, this story about yourself that's negative and limited and disempowering, then that is going to create your reality, and you're going to be living in darkness. And these patterns and cycles will keep repeating themselves. But as soon as you start meditating and you discover the truth of your being beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the ego, beyond space, and beyond time, and you realize that you are divine, that you are a child of God, that you are a unique expression of God, then all of a sudden you embody that, you feel that, you know that within the depths of your being, and your subconscious mind accepts that, and that is what the activation is all about. That is actually how you go from living as someone who's being controlled by the ego to someone who is liberated and living from the reality of the true self. And then you bring that light into the world and you start to transform the world around you. So that's what it's all about. This is what the journey is all about. And just by meditating, something as simple as meditation, it's free. It's something that is not hard to do, although many people have made it like complicated. It's really not that hard. And it's right here, right now, and within us. So if you're interested in meditation and you want to learn more about it, I've made many videos on it. I have a meditation playlist. I have a video I made not too long ago on the different brainwave states that we experience in meditation, how to experience the gamma brainwave state, super consciousness, all of that. And maybe I'll put the link to that video in the description below. I'm also working on some meditation packages for my coaching services. So if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, that's something else I offer. And I'll put all the information for that in the description below as well. So I think that's it. If you found this video helpful, informative, or insightful, please leave a thumbs up at the bottom of the screen and be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.